In the headlines, Ethiopia calls on international community to disabuse Eritrea's misguided policy. And IGAD official hails the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam as a beacon of Pan-Africanism. Hello, you're watching ABC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. With the news, I'm Tigist Sarnisa. Do stay with us. Ethiopia urged the international community to exert meaningful pressure on Eritrea to abandon what he called its misguided policy toward Ethiopia and the wider Horn of Africa. Addressing the Foreign Policy Forum on developments in the Horn, Foreign Minister Gideon Timotheus said Ethiopia remains open to dialogue and called for a shift away from rigid, uncompromising, outdated notions of sovereignty toward a cooperative, integrated regional future that delivers shared economic progress. Kasan Chani reports.
Ethiopia's Minister of Foreign Affairs Gideon Timotheus, addressing a distinguished audience at the forum, directly appealed to international partners to exert pressure and encourage the Eritrean government to desist from the provocations and violations against Ethiopia and engage in good faith dialogue.
In political terms, this desire manifests itself in the tendency of senior officials of the Eritrean state, notably the President, to provide a running commentary on all things Ethiopia. Both officials and social media personalities affiliated with the Eritrean state feel entitled to take positions, provide opinion, and even actively engage in Ethiopia's domestic political matters. But this goes beyond politics. The Eritrean governing class believes that Eritreans have a stake in the Ethiopian economy. This sense of perverted entitlement, a belief that what is mine and what is yours is ours, is a common trait that underlies our troubled history. Illicit, predatory, and exploitative trade practices were rampant before the 1998 conflict.
Furthermore, Gideon highlighted what he termed the Isaias Doctrine, an unwritten but consistently applied policy that assumes Eritrea's continued statehood as a sovereign country is contingent upon Ethiopia's insecurity, fragmentation and instability.
The tendency of the Eritrean leadership to present itself as an instrument for all forces having hostile intentions against Ethiopia. The instrumentalization of Eritrea by those who desire to destabilize Ethiopia and curtail its progress makes peaceful coexistence very difficult. Another factor we should take into account is what we can call the Isaias Doctrine. The Isaias Doctrine is not written down or expounded explicitly, but it has now become quite obvious as a result of consistent application for over 30 years.
Reaffirming Ethiopia's commitment to a different future, the foreign minister concluded by stating that while responsibility primarily lies with both governments, Ethiopia remains ready for dialogue. He reiterated a call for the international community to actively support this process by encouraging Eritrea to take small, tangible steps for a brighter future and engaging constructive dialogue.
The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is driving regional economic integration by supplying affordable electricity to neighboring countries, supporting industrial growth, raising living standards, and opening new trade opportunities. Speaking to ABC World, IGAD Peace and Security Division Director Commander Abebe Mulune said the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam stands as a powerful symbol of Pan-Africanism and an example and other nations to follow suit. We have more on this. Take a look. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam GERD power can be shared throughout IGAD region, fostering economic interdependence. Approached by ABC World, IGAD's Peace and Security Division Director, Commander Abebe Mulune, highlighted that the completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam GERD is indeed a symbol of Pan-Africanism, which other countries can follow suit.
GERD is a symbol of Pan-Africanism. GERD actually contributes a lot in sharing of energy. Energy is one of the fundamental for economic growth, for industrialization and the like. Therefore, by doing this, Ethiopia plays a very good role. Others have to follow this kind of mechanism by developing infrastructures, creating a conducive environment for trade.
Election expert from Kenya, Anne Katurima, for her part lauded completion of GERD for integrating countries in the IGAD region, mentioning Ethiopia and her own country, Kenya.
Collaboration is key, and collaboration is the next resource, especially in our region. Look at it with the GAD dam. Now we are even exporting electricity to my own country, Kenya, where we have water. But what are we doing with it? It is a celebration of how we can come together, and with our differences, we put them aside and we are able to integrate so that we are able to trade freely, we are able to move people freely, and we are able to integrate majorly as one region, one community, and for the prosperity of the IGAD region and the member countries in the region.
With regard to collaborating on multifaceted ways, President of the Union of Journalists of South Sudan, Oyet Patrick, praising Ethiopia's GERD, stresses more infrastructure such as roads need to be built to advance connectivity in the region.
The power is good. I believe this power can serve the entire region, which is very good. Collaboration, and then now we need connectivity by roads. Not everybody can afford airfare, but people must move, people must do businesses, people must have trade, people must know each other, and this can happen when roads are built.
GERD is said to support the African Continental Free Trade Area, which this cooperation also fosters regional connectivity and a shared vision for development, with Ethiopia exporting electricity to countries like Kenya, Sudan, and Djibouti. The African Women's Peace Institute and UN Women are marking 25 years of UNSC Resolution 1325 with a strong call for women's leadership in peace and security. Held in Addis Ababa under the theme Women Lead Peace Follows, the event brought together UN officials, African women's advocacy institutions, and civil society organizations urging accelerated action on the Women, Peace and Security agenda. Shaggai Matao reports.
Back in October 2000, the United Nations Security Council unanimously adopted Resolution 1325 to ensure women's equal representation in peace processes and security efforts. UN Women, African Women Peace and Security Institute, along with CSOs, marked the 25th anniversary of the UNSCR 1325 in Addis Ababa today, in the presence of UN women representatives and civil society organizations, among others, under the theme Women Lead Peace Follows. In his remark, Deputy Country Representative at UN Women Ethiopia, Shadrach Dusavi, highlights progresses made in empowering women in peace processes and security efforts, despite many gaps.
Allow me to acknowledge the efforts throughout the journey for over the last 25 years made by the government of Ethiopia, the partners, civil society organizations, and all of you as stakeholders who have worked tirelessly to advance the agenda on women, peace and security.
Executive Director at the African Women Peace and Security Institute, Konjitsina Georgis, for her part underscored women underrepresentation in peace negotiation efforts in Ethiopia and Africa, commending Ethiopia's endeavor in empowering women, mentioning the National Action Plan.
In Ethiopia, efforts are underway through collaboration between government and civil society to finalize the country's National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security. Although the draft is not yet endorsed, the process of developing NAP has been instrumental in building partnership and dialogue, laying the groundwork for coordinated national implementation.
Network of Ethiopian Women's Associations Executive Director Saba Gavramedin also called for active engagement of women in peace mediation efforts.
As we celebrate this day, 25 years of the WPS resolution, let's renew our commitment to bring peace into the world through preventing conflicts through grassroots women's active engagement, women taking part in resolving conflicts, ending impunities at conflict-related sexual violence, ensuring comprehensive gender-sensitive humanitarian response, and strengthening their engagement in post-conflict reconstruction, as we cannot achieve sustainable peace by keeping women outside the peace and security agenda.
The 25th anniversary of the UNSCR 1325 is celebrated in Addis Ababa with discussions to incorporate gender perspectives into all peace and security efforts.
Ethiopia's Summer Wheat Initiative is transforming farming communities. The surplus wheat production progress in Bale zone can be a model for Africa, according to an official. Sintayo Tamrat reports.
Over the past 5 years, Ethiopia has been scaling up its efforts of producing wheat through Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's Summer Wheat Initiative. The initiative aims at attaining wheat self-sufficiency, ending wheat importation, as well as becoming Africa's largest producer and exporter of wheat. For this to happen, Ethiopia has increased irrigable agricultural land and applied agricultural mechanization and showed huge leadership commitment. The country thus has been producing surplus and exporting it. Bale zone is one of the areas that has been yielding surplus, and each year with huge progress.
Deputy Head of Bale Zone Agriculture Office Getachew Abebe told EBC that the zone mainly produces 18 crop varieties, including cash crops. Yet wheat is the dominant crop, covering about 70% of the farmland.
ወደ 538,000 ሄክታር በላይ በተለያዩ ሰብሎች ተሸፍነው ነው ያሉት።
Currently, over 538,000 hectares of land is covered with crops in our zone. Bale is an area that gives yields twice a year. So our zone, apart from contribution to national demands for wheat, is helping Ethiopia export wheat. Over 354,000 hectares of land, or 70% farmland, is now covered with wheat. What helped us produce surplus is the work done with our farmers and the focus we placed on wheat production and productivity. Our farmers used to get only 20 to 30 quintals per hectare, but now they could get 60 to 80 quintals of wheat per hectare. This is because of application of agricultural mechanization. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's direction and attention to wheat production in our zone has also contributed greatly to our surplus production.
The surplus wheat produced in Sinana district of Bale zone in Oromia region is not only helping Ethiopia meet national goals with wheat, but also transforming farmers' lives.
Previously, we produced wheat in disorganized manner, but for the last few years, we have been employing cluster farming. We have enjoyed the great benefits as a result. We are sending our children to school. Our families' living condition has greatly improved. We advise farmers in other areas to employ cluster farming. This year, we expect to collect between 50 to 70 quintals per hectare. This was not possible a few years back. We used to collect about 30 quintals a hectare.
If countries in Africa can replicate what has been done here in Bale with wheat, and also in some other regions like Afar and Somali, where wheat production was never thought and done before, they can extricate their people from extreme poverty and end aid.
እንደ አፍሪካም ከዚህ በዚህ ጋር ተያይዘው ጥሩ አፈር ነው ያለው፣ ጥሩ ለም ነው ያለው፣ ጥሩ አየር ነው ያለው.
Africa has good agroclimatic condition. It has good irrigable land of huge size. This continent also has massive human power, so it can take lessons from Ethiopia's wheat initiative applied in their respective countries and extricate their people out of poverty. They will also stop receiving aid. Bale is an ideal example for that.
Ethiopia and Italy have reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthen their long-standing bilateral partnerships ahead of upcoming 2026-2028 cooperation agreement. State Minister of Finance Samarita Sawaso met with Italy's new ambassador Sem Fabrizi to outline priorities for the upcoming framework. Both sides emphasized boosting economic growth, attracting investment and advancing sustainable development. The discussion focused on structural challenges, security, trade and FDI, economic reforms and overall economic cooperation. Ethiopia highlighted that its ongoing market reform presents major opportunities for partnerships, stressing the need for innovative financing tools like blended finance and public-private partnerships to support long-term sustainable investment. Ethiopian Airlines has ordered 11 additional Boeing 7378 MAX jets, strengthening its fleet and long-term growth plans. The deal was announced at Dubai Air Show with CEO Mesfin Tasaw, saying the new aircraft will support network expansion and enhance the airline's Addis Ababa hub. Boeing executive Brad McMillan said the purchase reaffirms Ethiopian Airlines' leadership in Africa and deepens the company's 80-year partnership. Ethiopian Airlines already operates the continent's largest Boeing fleet and continues to expand its 737 MAX, 777 MAX, 777X and 787 Dreamliner orders. Now the quick reminder of the top stories making headline. Ethiopia calls on international community to disabuse Eritrea's misguided policy. And IGAD official hails the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam as a beacon of Pan-Africanism. That's all we had for this news edition. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye.